scarcity of food in Venezuela. Food has to be imported. And so Petróleos de Venezuela has been put in charge of importing and distributing food, forgetting about producing oil. And the result, of course, is that the production has been declining quite rapidly. This, of course, is not the only reason. The other reasons are that the fact that the money is now going directly into Chavez pockets means that Petróleos de Venezuela has much less money for investment, in their own investments and their own maintenance. When you don't drill new production wells, inevitably you're going to have a decline in oil production. And this is exactly what is going on in Venezuela at this time. But not only has the production declined, but also the domestic consumption in Venezuela has increased. Nowadays, we in Venezuela internally, we are consuming about 700,000 barrels of oil per day. And this is an oil that sells in Venezuela for approximately $10 a barrel. You can buy gasoline in Venezuela for about 15 or 18 US cents per gallon. You can imagine that the loss is gigantic for the nation by doing this. So the combination of less production, more domestic consumption, and then the use of oil to give away, like he's doing, combines to reduce the amount left for commercial exports. For example, you have not only 700,000 being consumed domestically, but you also have the 300 or even 400,000 barrels a day which Chavez is giving away. 100,000 barrels a day to Cuba, and the other another 100,000 barrels a day to China, although the Chinese are paying, but you know, the Chinese pay when they want, and the Caribbean states are paying also, but they are paying in bananas and black beans, and it's very hard to establish a correlation between the barrel of oil and how many bananas. And how many bananas can you need in Venezuela anyway? So the combination of these three factors means that Venezuela is now exporting to the United States barely over 1 million barrels a day, which is about 350,000 barrels a day less than they exported only 7 years ago. But this also means, of course, it means that Venezuela is getting much less money from the handouts. He gives a fish to Venezuelans every day, but he has never bothered to teach them how to fish. So in many ways, all this money being given by Chavez has been essentially wasted all during these years. And abroad in the hemisphere, he has used no less than $20 billion in trying to buy loyalties, political loyalties among the Latin American leaders. And he has been rather successful. He has tried, for example, to influence the presidential elections in several countries already, certainly Peru, Mexico, Nicaragua, Chile, Argentina, and no less than 5 of his ambassadors have been expelled by these countries because of open intervention in their internal political processes. Even in the United States, you might know that Chavez has been very active through the oil subsidies to the so-called U.S. poor. The U.S. poor has an average income of about $15,000, whereas the Venezuelan poor has an average income of less than $2,000 a year. So it's not logical to see how the Venezuelan people can be helping the U.S. poor because the Venezuelans are much poorer. But Chavez has been doing this not out of altruism, but out of as a design for a political to gain political inroads into the U.S. And he has been able to gain the loyalty or the following of people, notable people in the U.S. From Bill de la Hunt to Champagne. Thank you very much and good morning. First of all, it could be useful for you to know that Venezuela has had a dictatorship every 40 years since independence. It's just like a political geyser, or political Old Faithful, you know. It so happened that in 1998, Chavez was elected president, and so that was going to break the routine. Therefore, he decided to become a dictator, even in spite of being elected electorally. And right after he became a president, he started also to try to transform Venezuela from a democracy into a tropical monarchy, sort of tropical monarchy. He did it by using the technique of boiling a frog. As you know, if you try to boil a frog, dropping it into a pail of hot water, the frog jumps out. But if you put it in lukewarm water and you very gradually increase the temperature, the frog is going to boil without even noticing it. And this is exactly what Chavez has been doing for the last 8 or 9 years in Venezuela. Only twice he raised the temperature abruptly. Once in 2002, and he was ousted by popular reaction, and the other one in December 2007, and he was defeated at the polls because he tried to become president for life. But generally speaking, he has been very skillful at trying to transform Venezuela into a dictatorship, Cuban style, even within, so to speak, democratic, within a relatively democratic atmosphere or political environment. And in 2001, oil prices started to climb, and Chavez had access to a lot of money, so he decided to put into place his two main strategies. One, to become a regional leader, a hemispheric leader, and the second one, to destroy the United States. These are his two main objectives from the very beginning of his presidency. He started to do this in two ways. First of all, he has received about $600 billion in the years he has been in the presidency. And he started using this money in two main ways. One, domestically, he replaced what you would call a policy of programs in health and education. He replaced them by handouts. He has actually become, he has relied basically on